Hello everyone and welcome to my kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Mari and today we're going to make a very quick meal using the bok choy that we harvested together from the garden last weekend. This is actually one of my favorite ways to cook bok choy. It's very simple too. We basically just blanching it, but I'll show you guys something else we can do it just to put this meal together. That's fun. We have already ate most of the greens that I have harvested last week, but I saved this just to make this little recipe video for you guys. So I'm making a very quick ramen bowl, and this recipe is going to come together in less than 10 minutes. We're going to use a little trick here to cook. We're going to cook this noodles, the bok choy, and the eggs at the same time in the same pot. I'm going to turn it on right now. I have some water in here right now. This makes a little noise, so if you're hearing it, I'm sorry about that. And we're going to make a quick broth to go with that as well. I have some leftover chicken stock that I have made myself. And I'm going to warm it up here in this pot with some ginger. So if you don't have homemade chicken stock, you can just use store-bought, but just make sure it's low sodium. Today I'm going to be adding miso too to flavor my broth, but that's optional. I just like to add miso for its probiotics, and I also think it has amazing flavor. So first I'm going to start by adding all of this broth to this pot over here. Now, one thing to know about ramen, even if you're making a quick one like this, you should never cook your noodles in the same pot that you do your broth. They should always be cooked separately. And I'm going to put a little bit of ginger on this chew to flavor. Hopefully you guys saw what I did. Just sliced a little paste in here, and I'm going to mash it to release a bit of the flavors to be easier to release. So we're going to add this in here, and I'm going to bring to the back here to boil. Just turn that on while we get all the things going. I'm also going to use an egg today as our protein, and I'm using this brown rice ramen noodles. I get these at Costco and I really like them. There's only one left in here because this is my to-go quick meal and we have already ate most of it. So we're going to make the last one. And the good thing about this is that it has 8 grams of protein. So if you're making a vegetarian meal, just for eating this, you add some more protein to your dish already. So we're going to do that. And for our veggie, we're going to have a bok choy plus some onion tops that I'm going to use as chives. I have trimmed my onion seedlings that I showed to you guys in one of the previous videos. And I'm going to use a bit of this to slice it off and garnish our ramen after everything is ready. So I make this dish all the time when I'm in a pinch, and cooking it all in one pan makes it almost, there's one pan in the back too, and most of one pan makes it super efficient and quick. I'm going to only use 2 bok choys in here. I'm gonna save one for later because I'm only making one portion for myself. But I have a couple leaves that I'm still gonna use it even though they are a little bit damaged in here. Since it's from the garden, I don't like to waste anything. And then here at the bottom, I'm just going to cut a little bit of it in the bottom. So if I had left this on the plant when I was harvesting, I think I was not clear when I said that on the video that I was harvesting. I said that if you had cut here, you would have left this little piece, more bok choy would grow. So if I had left this when I had harvested, more leaves will come here from the middle, but I needed this space on the pocket of my green stalk that I had that, so I cut the whole thing. But you could easily just go, when you're harvesting, you just get your pruners, cut right here, leave this part on the soil, and then you can keep harvesting more bok choy from it. I'm probably going to try to do that with the purple bok choy that I planted there. And once you cut the bottom, a lot of the leaves will already come off. Now, if you're buying this from a store, bok choy tends to come with lots of dirt, so you have to make sure to wash it properly. I grew this in a vertical garden, vertical planter, so they don't have a lot of dirt. They're pretty good. There's some little bit of dirt here that I see in the middle, so I might rinse it. And then this one here was the middle part. I can just cut in half. And that's gonna go at the end of the cooking. These noodles here, it takes about 8 minutes to cook, it says here. I like to cook it for 7 because I like my noodles a bit more al dente, especially for ramen because I'm putting in a broth. So you usually would just have to follow the instructions on your package. But the perfect thing is because it cooks in 8 minutes or 7, is a perfect time to actually cook an egg. I like to cook my eggs for about 7 minutes. It comes up a bit firmer than super jammy yolk, but it will also depend on the size of the egg. If you have a really big egg, it will be a little bit more runny, the yolk. If you have a small egg, it firms a bit more, and I'm fine with either. But today we're going to cook it for 7 minutes to follow the same time as the noodles. And that's it. Now all prepped and go. I'm going to cut the chives once those are cooking, so I can have my cutting board clean. But we're going to add the noodles and add the egg at the same time. Cook it for 4 to 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add the bok choy in the last 2 minutes of the cooking, so we can do it all in one place. And meanwhile, our broth is warming up, and when it comes out, I'll just mix with a bit of miso to flavor. You could flavor it with soy sauce too if you like, and add some sesame seeds that I have toasted a little earlier, and some sesame oil because I love sesame oil. But it's optional too. You don't need to do that if you don't have all these things at home. Okay, so let me check this water. It's almost coming to a boil. I already have a colander here to strain the noodles. This actually goes very fast, so in about a minute you should already have boiling water. So I have my noodles here, and I like to get a spoon to put my egg inside gently so I don't crack it. So I have a spoon right here next to me, and I'll show how I do it. There we go, it's already boiling, and we're just going to place this noodle cake. I have a bit of leftover here because it's the last one in the package. I'm gonna add it all to not waste. Then we're going to get our egg with a spoon and gently place it down. So if you just drop your egg in here, it's gonna crack the shell, and it will get a lot of the whites floating in the noodles, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna leave this here. I'll cook for 4 minutes first. That's what the package says. Since this is rice noodles, it's kind of a bit more together. So we're going to cook it for 4 minutes. Then I'm going to loosen the noodles, and we're going to add the bok choy, cut the chives, and serve. You could use green onions for this too. If I had pickled onions in my fridge, I also love to garnish ramen or noodles with pickled onions. And at this time of the year, we're eating a lot of chives, and these are the onion tops, which taste a bit milder than the chives, believe it or not. I thought they would be stronger. It's from our onion seedlings, but I guess it could depend on the variety of onions or the way that I'm growing. I'm not sure. But it's still delicious and still great to have that to use from the garden. I'm gonna try to cut everything because every time I don't like to waste anything that I harvest from the garden. So we're gonna cut to the last bit. So this miso, you can use any brand, but I'm using white miso today. It's the easiest one to find. And I'm going to proportion here so we can be a bit faster. I'm only gonna use 1 tablespoon. If you are new to miso, you can use less. Start with a ½ tablespoon. I love the flavor of miso, and I did not put any salt on my chicken broth. So I'm going to just grab a spoon here. 1 tablespoon, maybe a little bit of shy of that. That's enough. I'm gonna put in here for now. And we're going to add this at the end of the cooking, and I'll tell you guys why. Okay, let's put these things back in the fridge while we wait. Okay, let's take a look at our noodles here. They stay attached a bit longer than regular wheat noodles because they're rice noodles, but I'm just going to gently separate them here. And you see how the water is very white and starchy. That's why we don't want to cook the noodles into the broth. We don't want to get all that starch in there. It's been about 4 minutes now, and I said I like to cook my bok choy for 2. So I'm just going to take it apart a bit more. This is an optional step. I'm just doing this because those are rice noodles, like I said. Some other ones, you don't need to do this. But I like this brand, and I really like the texture of this, so I don't mind giving a little extra work to separating them. Okay, now I'm going to add the bok choy. That's a lot of it, so maybe 2 minutes. I tend to like to cook my bok choys for less time. We're just going to quickly blanch it to make it bright green. And I have already washed this. I can see that my pot in the back is boiling too, so I'm just going to throw this in here and do a 2-minute timer. So I have everything together in this pot, the bok choy blanching, the noodles cooking, and the egg cooking. And here we have the chicken broth that's already come to a boil. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn this off and let it just sit here while we finish doing the other things. And I'm gonna grab the plate here to take out the bok choy. I like to put it on the side before straining the noodles, but the reason why I turn off that chicken stock, it's because miso has probiotic, qualities to it, and if we add it while the chicken stock is boiling, we kill all of the beneficial bacteria that's in there. So it's recommended that you turn it off and then whisk in the miso after. I learned that trick actually at my first job at a restaurant. If you're new here too, I have a background in professional cooking, and a long time ago, about 10 years ago, my first job was at Nobu, which is a Japanese restaurant, and I used to make miso soup there and cook some rice too as my first jobs in the kitchen. Then I learned a lot more things, but since then I've learned that we should never boil miso if you want to keep all of the benefits of it. So there you go. Now we have 2 minutes to the timer. Let's remove this bok choy from the pot. We're gonna try to be quick here, and I'm holding the camera. And then we're going to turn this off, and I'm going to strain those noodles. You could strain the whole thing together. I just think it looks nicer in the plate when I put the bok choy on the side. Oops, the camera got a little foggy. Gotta be quick here so I don't overcook my noodles. But I just put the bok choy on the side here, on the edge. Very quickly. Push it to the side, like this. Then we're gonna strain our noodles. Just going to throw right in the strainer over here. And our egg is in there too. I'm gonna put this right on top of this pot again, so I just can bring to this side. And now we're going to quickly plate our ramen. I'm gonna remove the egg from here. We're going to peel this, oops, together. Let me just add, then I like to add the noodles to the bottom. There's some broken pieces here because I added the last bits. And I'm going to bring this here to mix the miso soup, the miso with, and we're going to strain everything with this broth straight on our pot. But now I'm going to crack the egg real quick. And a trick that I also learned to peel the eggs is just to get a spoon. So the same spoon that we use when they're really hot. There we go. Just make sure I take the pellicule underneath first. See if I can do that. And then you usually place this spoon under. Oh, I broke it. It's too hot to handle. That spoon was too thick. Let's get a thinner spoon. There we go. Much easier. You got a spoon. Now there was a little bit of breakage from our accidental first, but then you just peel it like that. And then usually you get the egg like this if you haven't used a thick spoon like I did in the beginning. Okay, and if I was eating just for me at home, I wouldn't cut this in half. I'll just put it in my bowl, but we're trying to make it pretty today. So I'm going to cut it in half to show you guys. So we're just going to cut this. Beautiful. And I'm going to turn this way so you guys can have the facing side. I'm going to put some eggs in here. Then I'm going to add this miso to the broth, which now is not boiling anymore, so we can get all the nice benefits of it. And I'm going to whisk it. The miso was cold too, so it needs to be whisked to incorporate with the broth. And I have tested this before. I usually do 1 tablespoon of miso to about 2 cups of broth, but you can start with less. Start with a half tablespoon or something if you are not used to it. As I say, miso is salty, so you have to be careful. But then I'm going to strain it right on top of my bowl. And you usually strain it because there's all these little big pieces of soy on the miso, so you want it to make nice. I'm going to finish this up with some sesame seeds that I have toasted. I already had it here, toasted. Okay. Our chives that we just cut together. Let me clean my station. So messy over here. Clean my table. Okay, so let's get those. Oops. Can never be as clean as I want when I'm filming videos, but that's all right. I'm gonna put all of the chives in here because I cut all of this. Sprinkling a bit around, it's fine too, because it gets into the broth. Now, you could eat just like that if you wanted, and it would be delicious for a quick lunch. But I like to add a few other things. I'm going to move in here so you can see it better. I like to finish mine up with some chili oil. My favorite brand is this one here, Fly by Jing. So I like to get a nice spoon and just drizzle some chili oil on top. If you don't like spicy, you can definitely skip this step. But I love spicy, so I want to do that. And I also like drizzling a bit of sesame oil on top because I think it adds a very nice flavor and aroma. So I'm just going to drizzle some sesame oil over everything, the soy sauce, even the eggs, just to give it some more flavor. And that's it. Our very quick 10-minute ramen bowl is ready for a quick lunch. I like to enjoy this with some chopsticks and a spoon to have the broth together with this, but I guess this is like my version of grown-up ramen. I used to eat a lot of instant ramen as a kid back in Brazil, and I wanted to make something quick, so this is my updated version. And after living in Hawaii for so long too, I lived in Hawaii for 7 years, I really developed a taste for ramen. So I always make this when I want to have a bit of a comforting, quick food. And the main point of this video was to really show you the method that I cook the bok choy. So today I cooked together with the noodles and the eggs because I wanted to make lunch for myself. But the main thing is just like blanching is a very simple, easy way to use it. You can use it in a stir fry too. The other day I just made fried rice and I just diced up the bok choy, stir fried it with some rice, eggs, some garlic, and some seasonings. Also, once we first harvested, I cut up the other greens in some bok choy and added to a soup where I made this chicken broth first for. So I flavored the soup, the broth with ginger and turmeric for that one. Added some chicken, some bok choy, some carrots. I think I had that in the fridge too. So I cooked the carrots in the broth first with the chicken and then add the bok choy at the end because you always want to have the bok choy nice and bright green. You don't want to overcook it because it gets kind of mushy. So that's it. So those are some of the favorite ways that I have to cook it. And now I'm just going to go to the side to enjoy my lunch. I just finished eating and now let's take a quick look at the garden. It has just stopped raining. It was raining for the whole morning. That's why I also thought to film a cooking video, but now I can show you guys how everything's looking. That thing fell. Anyway, let's focus on the stuff here. I have some more things acclimating right now because it was raining. Raining days are great for acclimating, so I put everything out here to try to get some nice moisture and also be out in the overcast day so they don't struggle too much when they're out. I even have some dahlias in here that I have pre-sprouted, a couple tubers, and here are some tomatoes and peppers that I got at the Hudson Valley Seed Company. And look at my green stalks, how beautiful they look. Once it rains, I like to take all of the covers off so they can get some natural, some moisture. So when I did that, I noticed that this broccoli down here, the one that we did not pinch together, it's already forming a little head. So this is a sprouting broccoli and is recommended to be pinched. And that's what we did in a previous video over here. And we took the main head out and then the top growth tip point. And then now it's sending some side shoots on the side. And since it's a sprouting broccoli, we want to have as many side shoots as we can. That's why we pinched it. But we're going to see how it looks with the main head too. I did not pinch it last year because I didn't know. And I'm growing the same variety because it's so amazing. So we'll be able to see the different side by side this year. I have my tulips here still going. I thought they would be faded by this time. And let's check out the other green stalks that we have just planted. Everyone on this one is doing great. Enjoying the moisture and the sunshine. The broccoli is doing great. The onions. Everything is doing good on this side. And if I turn it, remember those seedlings that we saw? All of them are much bigger. And now I can kind of tell what they are by the smell. These ones here are actually shiso. I have just rubbed the leaves and smelled it. It smells like shiso. This is lemon balm that I had a plant right over here. You can see it hasn't come back yet, even though it's supposed to be a perennial. But it sent lots of little seedlings. And someone just recently asked me about growing lemon balm in a green stalk. And it can be aggressive. You can see here that I have on the top tier. But what I do when I see these little babies, I usually take them apart. I might transplant them somewhere else this year because I want to grow some more lemon balm for tea. But I control it by just picking out the seedlings and harvesting kind of aggressively once the plant is in bloom because I love to have the tea so it doesn't grow so much. But you got to be careful. Sometimes the roots will come below the tiers. And I have the thyme here too that I'm going to separate. I put a basil in here, but I am now regretting because I just saw in the forecast we're going to have a freezing night. So I'm going to cover this with a frost cover, but we'll see what's going to happen. The lavender, it's coming back here. How exciting. I thought this lavender was dead. All of them have some green, which is cool. And this one over here, that's the one we harvested the bok choy that was just cooked together. There's a lot more bok choy here. These are the purple ones. And they have grown quite nicely. I did cut the spinach after I filmed last. This one was bolting and I kind of opened that split. I might have to take this whole plant out. And if we turn here real quick, you can see another huge bok choy here. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this. Probably, maybe I should do another harvest today since I only have one left. Look at these pansies. Let me see. I know there's some big Shijimi sai on the back, so some more here. So yeah, I guess we can do a little quick harvest today and open up some more space since this guy's growing so much faster than everybody else. And on the other green stalk that we planted together, we have lots of things already sprouted. All of these radish seeds that we planted. I also took the seed houses out because I wanted them to get some rain. And the broccoli is doing nice, so everything is good. The strawberry is growing. Look how much growth this one put. And, oops. Back here, a lot of the things are sprouted. The peas are coming up. I have peas and radishes, more radishes below there. Broccoli is looking great. Lettuce is doing great. So far, so good. These guys here behind me are looking amazing too. So everything in this Vigo bed is also doing great. And I'm going to probably harvest soon. Actually, you know what? I might not do a harvest. I just thought about it. I have to film my garden tour. So I'm going to wait, and I'll probably film one tomorrow and harvest this together on the garden tour with you guys. So you can see how this planter is looking while it's still full. And I also put the milk jugs that we have opened together in the last video here on the ground. They're still open. I haven't closed them since that day, and they're getting some nice rain as well. And here are the onions that I cut the tops from and used in our ramen today. That's how it looks right now. I think it has already put some growth after I topped it off. Our next project is to keep on working on this area here. We might actually do that before we film the garden tour. And you can see that I've moved that bed over there because we have changed our minds with the layout here. And I'll tell you guys more about it once we are doing some more work here too. And that will be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this very quick recipe and update. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about anything, and if you missed the video what I harvested that bok choy, I'm going to link it right over here so you can watch that next. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.